Hello and welcome back to the Hoarder Crafting Podcast. My name is Sasha and I'm coming to you today from a sunny-ish town just outside of Birmingham in the West Midlands here in the UK. Today is the 8th of October and this is episode number 33. So today I have 3 works in progress, one of which is a new cast on. Something from my Vlogtober, if you watched that, as well as an item I had completely forgotten I'd made and then found quite by chance yesterday. So I shall jump in with the smallest of my whips, or at least smallest when it's finished. But, these are my current socks in progress. And they are using the Hobie Halloween sock wool in colourway Zombie Sock. This is the cake. So these technically do come in a bullet skein. Unfortunately, this one specific skein decided to yarn bath and I ended up having to cake it up, as well as losing about 10 grams of it because it was just a bad skein. Haven't had any other issues with Hobie yarns in the past. This is the first ever skein that I've had a problem with. But that's okay because I have one finished sock and I am on to the gusset decreases of the second sock. I had hoped to have more of this done, potentially even have them finished, and unfortunately life got in the way. But this is how far I've come. The loose goal is to have this finished by Halloween. That shouldn't be an issue. That's 3 weeks away? Maybe 4? 3.5? It's some number of weeks away. So these are 64 stitches on a 2.5mm needle. I have 20 rounds of 2x2 rib. These are shorter than the usual socks I do. I usually do anywhere from 65 to 85 rounds for the leg. These are 45, so shorter, but yeah, they're heel flap and gussets. And yeah, I have a finished sock. It's quite interesting seeing the striping difference in these. So this first sock, I was using up the smaller balls. I'll put here a picture of what I ended up with once I eventually got it caked up to use. So this first sock was 90% done with the 3 smaller balls. I started with the smallest one, which I think ended about here. The second one got to about, I think it was just past the heel. I think I was on to the gusset decreases, I think, and then the other one finished halfway through the toe. So this one is actually what the striping sequence should look like. This one is a mismatch of different points joining in. But it doesn't matter to me that they don't match. I think for these ones, I'm glad it was this skein that yarn bathed rather than the others, which were an actual striping sequence, whereas these are a bit more odd. They're a bit more random, a bit more busy with the striping. I'd call them more of a self-patterning rather than self-striping. But hopefully, maybe, depending on how life goes, maybe these will be finished next week. But we shall see. That's whip number 1. Whip number 2 is the big one, very, very big one. So this is the cardigan I am making my other half for Christmas, using the Worth Mill Yarns Saddleworth in the colourway Kingfisher, which is a very nice bright but not neon blue. And I am making the Jones cardigan by Tin Can Knits, and I have this much. So I was down here last week. So my goal for this is to do 5 pattern repeats a week currently. I managed 5 pattern repeats last week. I've already done 2.5 pattern repeats this week, and I haven't actually touched this yet today. But I did work out how many repeats of the pattern I need before I can separate for the fronts and the backs, and that is exactly 20 pattern repeats. So with that goal, the main body before the separation front and backs should take me 4 weeks, maybe less, to do. That did not include the ribbing, but the goal is to have this done by December, the end of December. It doesn't really matter if it's not finished on Christmas Day itself. We're not big, well, we're big Christmas people, but we're not like religious people, so it doesn't make any difference to us if we give the gifts early, late, or even months down the line. But that's the progress on this. There's not really much to say about this at the moment. It's just, look, it's a couple of repeats bigger. But I'm enjoying this. I'm really liking it. It's really scratching that itch for cables. So that's that one. And the last whip is a new cast on. Once again, I didn't already mention, all the bags I made myself. So this is my next one. And if you watched last week's episode, you might be able to work out what this is. And it also ties quite nicely into what I'm wearing, because they're the same pattern. So this is the Vest number 2 Spring Edition by My Favourite Things Knitwear. This one was knit exactly to pattern. I think I might have added a little bit of length to the body, but it was done exactly to pattern using the Juniper Moon Farm Findley Dappled DK. So this was a single strand. And this next one that I've started is 2 yarns held together. So it's the Mode at Rowan Alpaca Wool and the Lottie Knits Halo Lace in the colourway Foxglove. And I have come quite far on this, considering I only cast it on a week ago and have barely touched it since. But this is how far I've come. So I shall hold this close so you can see the fabric I'm getting. I absolutely love the colour, I love the feel of this. It is really nice. There's the 2 yarns separately. I am not knitting this exactly to pattern. So I found with this one that the armhole is way too low, it's down here, and I want it to be up here. I know some people don't particularly like having the armhole right in their pit. I think by my calculations it should sit right at the top of my bra line, rather than all the way down here, where if I wear it without a top underneath it shows off my bra. So other than that, I am not making any changes currently. When it comes time to pick up for the neck, the armholes and do the ribbing at the bottom, I'm going to be holding this single, just because I don't really want this like up around my neck, rubbing like over here, or being all up in my pit if I wear it without a t-shirt underneath. But I'm loving this project. I will say, this is not the most size inclusive pattern. I think this was one of her early ones. I'm pretty sure her patterns are becoming more size inclusive. But it's a pattern I already owned. I bought it, was it last year? I bought it last year before I realised the pattern itself wasn't size inclusive, because I didn't check that. But I'm enjoying this. I love it. It's so soft. I don't have a goal of when to finish this by. It would be nice to have it finished to wear to the Christmas wool show in, I think, 5 or 6 weeks' time. Realistically, that's not going to happen. I only work on this very sporadically. Because of my goal of getting this finished, this is taking priority. So it would be nice to have it finished. It probably won't be finished. But hopefully I can have this finished by the end of the year. But yeah, I am really enjoying it. I'm enjoying all of my projects, all of my active projects anyway, at the moment. There are some projects that haven't seen any work since before the summer, which is fine. I will probably end up, when January comes around, I will probably end up digging out all of my projects again and having a whip parade, whip roundup, just to remind myself what I've got. But yeah, very happy with this. I did have to do a lot of math one night to work out changing this, because obviously when you connect the underarms and the V at the same time. I didn't want to affect the depth of the V, but I wanted these to come up, so I did a load of calculations, and my math isn't exactly amazing, so hopefully I've worked it out correctly. But that's that one. I have a sewing project to show you now, which the sewing of it is all finished. I just need to find some cord for it. I thought I had some in my knitting corner. Turns out I don't. But this is it. This is my finished Halloween bag. I really like these fabrics. They're not in-your-face Halloweeny, which I like. I mean, I'm sure some people are going to be like, well, it's very Halloweeny, there's bright orange in it. And yeah, but people like bright orange. One of my friends, he absolutely loves orange. Like, he would wear orange all day, every day, if he was able to. But this is hopefully going to be a sweater bag once I've got some cord to cinch it up, because it is a fair bit bigger than my other bigger bags. So I might need to make another one or two of these for sweater projects. But yeah, other than that, not really tons to say about it. It was fun to make, I enjoyed it. Be nice to make some more, and I might do a bit more experimenting. I had meant to make this quilted and I completely forgot, but I still like it. It's still fun, it's still nice, I will still use it. And whips and FOs are that's it for this week. I do have another item to talk about. So this is the one that I found yesterday by chance that I had completely forgotten I'd made. I mentioned, I think, a few weeks ago that actually it might be a couple of months ago at this point, that I've never really had much success with crocheted garments. This item is crocheted, and it was successful in some regards and a failure in others. And it is this cardigan. It is fairly big. It's difficult to show here, but I will get some footage of me wearing it and insert it here for you to see. But now that I found this, I think I might keep it out so that I can throw it on around the house. I will say, if I remember correctly when I made this, it was a fair few years ago when I first started to crochet in 2021. And I gained a fair amount of weight, so I grew out of it. I have now shrunk back down so I can fit into it just. However, that does not fix some of the failures in this cardigan. For starters, the video clip here will better show it. the sleeve is too short. Part of that was I ran out of yarn. So I made a cardigan jacket for my other half using these yarns, and then I used the leftovers to make this cardigan, and I basically ran out of yarn, so I couldn't extend this even if I wanted to. I also crocheted it in pieces, so both fronts were crocheted separately and then the back, and then I sewed it up. And I also did crocheted ribbing, which I have discovered I do not like. I've mentioned this a few times, I'm not a fan of crocheted ribbing. But it's not even. I haven't sewn it up very well. And you can see, I'm pretty sure on this side where I've sewed it up, I have sewed up the wrong way, because you can see the floats that, well, you can see the yarn I've carried up the side in places. I will say I do really like what I've done with like the cuff bits. If any of you know what I have done here, could you please let me know in the comments, because I really like this, but I can't remember what it is that I've done here. But it is like, they're like ridges. But I don't know, I don't know what I've done, and I really like it. However, something I definitely don't like is whatever I've done with this button band and the collar, because I honestly don't know. I don't know if this is a different type of ribbing I was trialling or what, but I will say I'm glad I found this, because I would actually like to make another one of these now that I know more of what I'm doing, and potentially get some better yarn, because this is LD yarn. I know that much. This is the LD, the big 400 gram Aran balls they used to do, which I think were 80% acrylic, 20% wool, which it was okay for the time. I'm pretty sure I bought this, well, I did buy this during COVID, so, but I will say they're not my colours. Well, the beige probably is, the blue not so much. But it's a wee bit too feminine for my other half to wear. I also really, really like these wooden buttons. But I'm glad I found it, and I will wear it, because it strikes me as a really good house cardigan. Given the sleeves nowhere near long enough, it's good for wearing around the house, not so much going out. And to be quite honest, I've learnt a lot more since making this, so I could probably make a better version of this, and hopefully buy enough of the yarn to actually make it properly length. And that's everything I have to talk about this week. There's not really any live stuff to talk about. I am currently doing a Vlogtober, which the first episode is up. It's not very interesting, it's not very good. At least in my opinion, it's a whole lot of nothing. But yeah, if you're interested in that, it's a very realistic look at a normal person's life, which I'm not sure if everyone's going to enjoy, but some people might. Watching, I watched Goldeneye, re-release in the cinema. We've started season 3 of Peaky Blinders. Have I watched anything else? I will watch another episode of the Gilded Age. Other than that, it's mostly just been YouTube. When I've had time, anyway. The last 2 days have been very busy. If you are planning on checking out Vlogtober, next week's episode will start on Thursday again, because Tuesday and Wednesday have just been... I've been so busy and there's not really been anything I can record. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Hoarder Crafting Podcast. Yeah, please, if you know what I have done here, please enlighten me in the comments, because I really like the feel of this. I really like how it looks. I just have no idea what it is. And I hope to see you next week. Bye, guys.